Hello everyone, be welcome to my presentation on dividing lessons into coherent stages with realistic estimates of timing. Let's go on. Lesson plan introduction. Activities, order, time. These are some questions that many teachers ask at the time of creating a lesson plan because maybe there's not an official structure which better divides the lesson plan in order for its easier creation. So, what activities can you put in a lesson plan? What order should they have? And what is the time you should require for each activity in your lesson plan? Well, here's a tip that says divide your lesson into smaller parts called stages. Although there are many ways to design your lesson plan, there is a three-stage structure which consists of a beginning, a middle, and an end. I'm gonna give you a quick explanation of this. This lesson plan structure is basically divided in three stages, which are connected one with the other one. The beginning is where you're gonna get the students motivated by games and or something similar to that. A middle where they're going to actually receive something and learn something, and an end where they're going to put into practice and show that they actually learn something in the middle stage. Let's go on. Let's take a look at this. This is a lesson plan. First thing we gotta notice here is that this lesson plan is deductive, uh, which means that the teacher is teaching grammar explicitly. And well, this is not very good for kids because they're going to get bored. But anyway, let's go on. Here you can see that she starts with a paragraph, and then this is the middle stage. Let We need to skip the motivation phase here because we have no time for that. Here is the paragraph, and then you can see the exercises right here. You can see this one, and here is the practice where you're going to show that you learned something here and here. Let's get some feedback from this. Feedback. The activity is not interesting because the sentences in the exercises are the same one that in the examples. Oh well, I would like to clarify that this is something I took from the book. It's not something of my criticism. So I'm just following the steps that the book told me. Um, More time should be spent in the third stage, where students are going to put into practice what they have learned. So here we can see the activities that the teacher puts in order for the students to practice. It's not like too long. It's just something like simple, as the same than the income that she showed to the students. So this is a question that was asked, and I think it's very interesting, and that's why I decided to add here. Why do you think learners always make mistakes with third person s? Third person s is usually one of the first grammar points learners learn, but research shows that in this one of the last that it is one of the last things they get right. This is possibly because the s does very little to change the meaning of the verb. Maybe this is why many students have problems because, for example, if you add an s, you're not actually changing anything. You're just being grammatically correct, but I mean, it means the same. So maybe they don't pay attention to it for that. So that's why many topics of grammar are learned, because although they're not very necessary in terms of communication, they're actually necessary in order to be grammarly good. Let's go on. This is another activity, so let's read. Put these stage aims into the missing gaps. So here we're going to take an overlook about this. And so these are the three options: to introduce new language, to get learners interested in the topic, to practice and use the language in real communication. In a 50-minute lesson, how long would you spend on each stage? Engage, study, activate. Well, let's begin with the phrases. You can stop the video in order to read all this because I don't want to make this longer. But let's be logical with this. To introduce new language, here we can read that the stage aim of the study is to show how to use new language. So here maybe you can add the this one to introduce new language, because you're going to introduce new language and show how to use the new language that you're going to introduce to the students. Let's go to the B. So the A is in the second one. The B, to get learners interested in the topic. We all know that this is the engage. Maybe no. Actually, these words have a relation, interest, and engage. So here goes the B, and the C, to practice and use the language in real communication, which is the third one. Mm, in this part of the lesson, uh, everything the students are going to do is to put into practice everything that they learn. So this makes sense. The C is the third one. Something interesting about time is that if we don't know how to use time, our lesson plan is not going to be successful, because time is very important, because the time is necessary for each lesson to be well done or well finished. So in a 50-minute lesson, I just would divide in terms of complexity. For example, the third one is the one that, if you already read this, the third one is the one that lasts more. So I would use 30 minutes, 30 minutes for this stage. In study stage, I would use no more than 15 minutes, and in stage A, that is engaged, I would use just 5 minutes. We all know that the motivation phase is not that long. At least you want to make a really nice game for the students. So here's the solving of the exercise. I just want to make sure that you understood that in terms of complexity, the more complex that a stage is, the more time that it is going to take in order to be solved in a proper manner, of course. Um, these are some tips. What will help you teaching? Share your lesson plans or reflection. We all know that we're not perfect. We all are learning here in this class, and maybe if we share something, we always acquire something from the other's job. For example, if I show you this, maybe I have some mistakes, but maybe you have some mistakes that I don't have, and that's the way we learn. It's like a cooperative way of learning. The next one, create a list of do's and don'ts for new teacher at creating grammar lessons. This is very important, because in this tip we notice that if we do this, we're going to try to make other people avoid the same mistakes we did at the beginning, because learning is a process, and every day you learn something new, and every day you perfectionate your thoughts and everything you learn. So it is very important to try to correct new teachers or new students, in order to make in order for them not to make the same mistakes that we made in the past. Work with others to create well-designed plans where you take into account the stages, time, date, class purposes, and other aspects that are important for a lesson plan. This is very important, because practice is everything at the time of teaching, because it is what teaches you, and it is what shows you if you're doing good or not. So if you work cooperatively, you're going to notice that you're going to acquire some kind of knowledge in terms of creating lesson plans, and well, they're going to be more related, the purposes with the timing and the stages. So, and then this way, the knowledge you're going to transmit to your students is going to be more meaningful for them. Well, this is all. Thanks for watching. I know this is not a very large report, but I just wanted to be like partial and basic. I don't want to come here to try to teach you many things, because maybe it can get out of my hands and I can like make a mistake here. But I just wanted to make an overview of my pages, of the pages that were selected for me in order to present. And well, this is all. Um, Thanks for watching. I accept feedback. We all are here in order to learn, and my audience feedback is important for me in order for be a good presenter, a good teacher, and in order to create lesson plans in a better way. And finally, I would like to say that not do not keep this. I mean, we all should be autonomous, and there is a lot of information on internet that shows how to use time and how to divide the stages and to better comprehend how to make lesson plans. So, well, this is all. Thank you for watching. If you are still here, and I hope you have a good afternoon, night, evening. Bye bye.